Alright, welcome back. Now we're going to be looking at two-stage experiments. So we have two independent chance events, and we're just going to work out what the sample space is and ultimately what the probability is when we look at two independent events. So for our first one here, a coin is flipped and then a spinner numbered 1 to 4 is spun, and they want us to list the sample space, and we commonly do this in a table. Now you can do this just as we did before with our little squiggly brackets, but this is a easier way to view it. So up the top here we have our spinner. So our spinners numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our coin that can either be heads or tails. Okay? Now when we are filling out that sample space, all we're doing is noting what could happen. So we could get a heads and a 1. We could also get a tails and a 1. A heads and a 2, a heads and a 3, a heads and a 4. Tails 2, tails 3, and tails 4. So all you're really doing is listing the intersection between these columns and rows. And when you do this and fill out all of these options, then you have the entire sample space. So we can see here that that's our sample space. We have heads from 1 to 4 and then tails from 1 to 4. So that's going to be A. Now B is list how many total events there are. Well, there's 4 possible involving heads and 4 possible involving tails. That means there's 8 total outcomes. Alright. Now, this will be useful because we need to know what our total outcomes are in order to figure out what the probability of one of these events occurring is. Alright, let's look at another one, and again, we're just going to be looking at outcomes for this part of the lesson. Alright, here's another one. So, a die is rolled. So just a dice with numbers 1 to 6, and then a coin is tossed. And we're going to write these as sample space as an ordered pair, which is exactly what we did last time. So again, the only options for tossing a coin is going to be heads or tails. This is kind of conceptual. Obviously there is a chance it lands on its side, but when we're just discussing this purely in mathematics, we just consider that there's a 50% chance of heads and 50% chance of tails. So let's go with that. So we're just going to fill out our sample space. Alright, and then the exact same thing for tails. All we are doing is writing in each one of the letters representing the coin and where it landed and the number that we got on the dice. Alright, so that's our entire sample space. So we can get a head combined with the numbers 1 to 6 or tails combined with the numbers 1 to 6. And total, we have 12 possible outcomes, 6 in the first row and 6 in the second row. Now, that's our answer for A. And for B, what we're going to be looking at is how many outcomes include the die landing on a 6. So we're only going to be interested in these outcomes here. Alright, so there are 2 outcomes. There's a head in a 6 or a tails in a 6. 2 outcomes, H6 and T6. Alright, so you can see these are pretty easy to get all the sample space written out. All you have to do is draw this table, and it doesn't matter whether you have which independent event at the top and which independent down the side. All you need to do is pick one and then just draw the table out like that. This could have been vertically oriented. I could have had heads and tails up here, and then I could have had the numbers going downwards. So either way is fine, it will still work out the same way. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.